actually.
Oh, Street Fighter. What do you think?
Yeah, I remember when it first came out. Like, obviously, I think Mortal Kombat was 95, wasn't it? So this was first. Yeah, I remember it. Just there, the hype was huge because obviously the game was like the biggest thing ever at the time, wasn't it? So I think just announcing like an adaptation of everyone's favorite arcade game was just, whether it was rubbish or not, it was gonna make money, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, before that, what we were looking at was Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Oh God.
And I've got to admit, I traveled because this is when we didn't have a local cinema, so I actually traveled to go and watch Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, poor man.
It was, you know what, it wasn't that bad. It's camp, but it was. We'll have to do an in defense of that one. I mean, we got it in the UK on May the 19th, so that was 95. I mean, it came out in 94 in the States, but we got it on like I said, it came out on December 23rd, 94 in the States, but we got it 19th of May 95. And for me, that was when I was finishing college, so it was one of the, and we didn't have a cinema locally, so it was lost in the mix, that one was. So I had to wait till it came out on video to actually see Street Fighter. But, you know, it's one film that I did really want to see because Jean-Claude Van Damme was still just over his peak.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was Raul Julia, who most people know from most younger people know from the Addams Family. It was his last film. So, but were you, as a gamer, were you more Street Fighter or were you Mortal Kombat?
I was Mortal Kombat. And I still kind of am. Like that. That makes more sense actually. You saying it came out in 95 because I do specifically remember this coming out quite close to Mortal Kombat as well.
Yeah.
So I think if you're saying it's 95, then yeah, that's probably why I remember that. I thought it actually came out 94 here, but yeah, no, I was always a more Mortal Kombat person because it was more because of the blood and the violence. I think like it was all sort of Street Fighter was just like a sort of cartoony version, wasn't it? Whereas, you know, Mortal Kombat was one of the first games to use like digitized actors and have realistic looking blood. Well, for the time anyway. So yeah, no, I think like because it was all sort of like I had to go and get my mum to get the game if I wanted to rent it because it was a 15 or an 18.
Was that on the Mega Drive?
Yeah, mine was, yeah. But because I remember on the Super Nintendo, the first Mortal Kombat game had the blood was locked, so you had to put a code in. Because obviously, like, it sent all the parents loopy in America, didn't it? So, yeah, that's a weird thing, isn't it? I've never noticed that being a massive thing here. Like, my mum's always been like, yeah, there you go. There's an 18 game for you to play.
Look at it, they have guns in America.
Yeah, true, yeah. The worst you're going to get here is, like, I don't know, something happening in the playground, isn't it?
Yeah, plus it's the size of the country compared to the UK.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, for some reason, I always associate Mortal Kombat more with the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo more with the Street Fighter more with the Super Nintendo. And I'll admit, I had Street Fighter when it first came out on the Super Nintendo, so I had the original. And I actually bought one of those Super Nintendo minis just so that I could play Street Fighter 2 again. I really loved it. And,
yeah, it was. I mean, it was chalk and cheese to Mortal Kombat, wasn't it? Like it's a lot faster, and you know, if you watch like some of the experts that play it for money and stuff like that, it's crazy how skilled you have to be really good at it. But yeah, no, I remember like there was like 3,000 different versions of Street Fighter 2, so I can't even remember which version it was I had. But I remember as well they brought out Street Fighter the movie, the game as well.
Yeah.
So it was like they sort of copied Mortal Kombat and had digitized versions of all the actors from the film. But you could tell it wasn't like Jean-Claude Van Damme and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was like a phenomenon, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to have an emulator with the, you know, like a Super Nintendo Mini with the Street Fighter games or a little console that's just nothing but Street Fighter games.
Yeah.
I'd pay for that
all day with the amount of sequels, wouldn't you?
I would love it. You know, you sit down and pick one of the Street Fighter games. I love them. And especially Chun-Li. So to have, at the time, she was just the actress Ming-Na Wen was just the actress that played Chun-Li. Now it's Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for me. I always know her. I always love her for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Star Wars.
And Star Wars now. And Mulan.
And Milan, yeah. Both Milans.
And Fennec Shand, as you were saying, in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So she's like a complete Disney, well, the parent Disney company, Mouse House, trifecta. She's a Disney princess. She's in Marvel and she's in Star Wars.
What more? And Street Fighter.
Yeah, and live action.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But so, be honest, what did you actually think when you first saw Street Fighter?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was like the best thing ever when I first saw it. Like, I think the first time you see these films that are considered like quote unquote bad now, like it's all you want to see, isn't it? Like, it's the hype the hype was so, like, we didn't have the internet then, so you couldn't go on and access like unlimited media to do with the film you wanted to see. You only just saw like a TV spot now and again, or heard a advert for it on the radio, saw it in magazines. So like, it was just, I think the weight like hyped the film up so more than like nowadays you're so exposed to a film before it even comes out, you've probably unconsciously formed an opinion already, even though you try not to. Yeah, sorry.
You say you go to one point, so you said how, and this was referring to episode 9, people made up their opinion before they go in. So you do, if you think you're going to hate a film, especially with a gaming one, you've already made your mind up before you've seen the film, but you still pay the money to see the film.
Yeah.
No sense to me.
Like Transformers, I mean, it still makes hundreds of millions, and it's basically the same shite pumped out 5 times.
I switched off after the second one, but I did go see Bumblebee. But
yeah, I did. I liked Bumblebee actually.
The same here, but for Dark of the Moon and The Last Night,
oh yeah,
the run times put me off.
But yeah, there's no need for it, is there?
And then you keep going, and this is the same with the Spider-Man movies and me. And I'll say the same with Batman. If they did 3 or 4 shit Batman films, I'd still be going to see them, and the 5th and the 6th, just because you want them to get it right. And
yeah,
so you really want that. So, but all these people that make their opinion, like you're saying, yeah.
I think that's probably the answer that I would give to what you just asked, like, because the hype for that was quite big. Like that and Mortal Kombat, they were sort of vying off each other, weren't they? So like it was 2 for the price of 1, like 2 great video game films coming out at like similar times. So like I say, look, in those days the hype was enough to sustain a box office for a film, I think, wasn't it? It had the right name behind it.
It made in the US, it was the budget was $35 million. In the US, it made 33, and it had a world gross of 99 million. So just under 100 million.
Well, that's not bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
For
3 times its budget, roughly.
Yeah.
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 I couldn't believe it was 35 million. I thought it was way more than that.
Yeah, but I suppose if you do take away Van Damme's
cocaine, yeah, I think that was probably a third of it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and his cocaine habit per week.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny when you think about it now. I mean, I'm going to admit this. You know, when I had long hair, and around about the same time Street Fighter was in production, there was like pictures of Van Damme, and I thought that was cool. And everybody at the time had ponytails.
Yeah.
And because everybody had ponytails, I was like,
Seagal had one as well.
Yeah. Oh, come on. I used to love Steven Seagal. That's the reason I grew a ponytail to start with. Long. Don't get me wrong. I always had longish hair, but as soon as Steven Seagal rocked the ponytail, I was like, yeah, I've got to have a ponytail now. And then
you look now how Steven Seagal would look if he hadn't had a lifetime of bodily abuse.
Yeah, and I've actually see I've got. I mean, come on, he's wearing a wig now.
Yeah, definitely, and a girdle or 2.
Yeah, but I actually, when I had my haircut, I wanted my hair to look like Van Damme in Street Fighter. So
Yeah,
on
Van
memory.
Damme was kind of like given the short straw with the action guys, wasn't he? Like everyone always says Arnie or Stallone, which is fair enough, but you had like people like Van Damme and Lundgren that were sort of in the background, weren't they? But they still had really solid, good films that were enjoyable, and they're just as good action stars, which they prove nowadays. Like they've both been in the Expendables, and if there's anything that resurrects the career of an old action star, it's one of those films, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the thing is, you look at Van Damme now, and compared to Steven Seagal now,
Yeah,
Van Damme.
he looks great.
Oh, he does.
All of those guys look great. I think Arnie looks great. Like they look a bit older, but that's fine. Like I'd like them to be. I like them to be grizzled and honest looking instead of full of plastic surgery. And they all look. I think they all look great. Dolph Lundgren looks good.
Oh yeah, you can only watch him in Creed 2, and it looks like aged him, because when you see him without, I was like, no, he looks fantastic, and
yeah,
Van Damme does, and
yeah.
And Arnie. I respect Arnie more, because what he's done for in politics.
Yeah.
But Sly in the likes of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, he still kicks ass.
Yeah. We've just got to get Van Damme in the MCU now.
Oh, that'd be cool. Come on, anything can happen in that universe. But yeah, so I've got it. Yeah, you could argue. Okay, Super Mario Brothers, and which was really Super Nintendo was Nintendo's more family, but Street Fighter is just a good old fashioned action movie. The storyline, the Allied nations being UN wannabes.
Yeah, what story? If we're really honest.
Yeah, and Bison wants to take over the world like a James Bond villain.
Yeah,
and he's the dialogue in it's bad, but it's quotable bad. I've always used for years my favorite one about do you want to stay or do you want to come and fight with me? Now let's go kick some bison ass. And that's
you remember it, don't you?
Yeah. And that's the thing. You do have bad films with bad dialogue where you just sit there. It's like when they're reading off the script.
Yeah.
Let's go to war and let's do this.
Yeah, like cliche. Yeah, but there's bad, and good, bad, isn't there? Like there's bad where they're trying to be as serious as they can and it's just not working. And then there's this where they know it's just a laugh, isn't it? Or like a good time.
Yeah, the what was it? So you got Simon Callow.
Yeah.
British theatre actor.
Yeah. I forgot he was in that actually.
And he's I think he's just credited as let's have a look. It's something really AN official. Then you've got, of course, you've got Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's from Belgium, but he's playing an American hero.
I know.
You've got Kylie Minogue, who's Australian, doing a terrible English accent.
I know, they should have just let her keep that, because Cammie's British in the game in her backstory anyway. Yeah. And, you could have swung it like Australians are kind of British, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's when she's doing that accent.
It's so bad. Sorry.
The only thing that I've always thought was weird right from the start is, why is Guile the hero?
I always thought it was like Ryu or Chun-Li or, like they were always the characters that I played as the most, or like I assume are the most popular. I was never a Guile person.
I was always Chun-Li, because he's got
I like Ryu and Ken because they're basically the same character, aren't they?
Yeah. It is a Ryu and Ken movie. I'd have thought it should be.
Yeah,
and being gun runners.
Yeah,
gun runners.
If you watch have you ever seen the animated Street Fighter 2, the movie?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. Like that's quite violent and has swearing and stuff like that. But they're the main focus of that. And like that's when I think that came out in '94 as well. I'm not sure. But but it was like an anime, but it was really, really good. Like it was quite faithful to the game and everything. But yeah, it's a weird decision, isn't it, to make Guile the main character? I mean, I get Bison being like in the main sort of fold as well because he's the bad guy, isn't he? But yeah, it's weird. I don't know. And it seems like they've crammed all the characters they could into the one film. Like they've done Avengers Endgame first.
We've got to give a reason. So you've got Chun-Li and is it Balrog and
E Honda
as a news crew, and
that's quite a good idea actually. I like that.
Yeah, you got Blanca, who's a soldier.
Yeah,
motivation, and it's I think it's when Blanca gets turned, he looks like a knockoff Incredible Hulk. Can you imagine him?
Yeah.
You can imagine him in like the TV series that they did. The
Luke Ferrigno one.
Yeah.
But, and then the dude from Temple of Doom as well. There's the Doctor.
He's good. Yeah, like dialogue. Roshan Seth.
That's his name. Yeah. He's been in quite a few things, hasn't he?
Yeah, I know him from Temple of Doom. As soon as you saw him, I remember seeing it the first time. I was going, he's in Temple of Doom. And in Temple of Doom, he is Chatalal.
Yeah, he's like the aide, isn't he, for the Maharaja, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we are going to have to do in defense of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, the one that nobody.
Yeah, it's a strange in defense of, isn't it? Because it's still considered like original indie trilogy, so therefore good, but it's like the Jedi of that trilogy, isn't it? Like it's if everyone had to choose a weak one, they'd choose that one, wouldn't they?
I like Return of the Jedi.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, I always like the choices that people don't like, like Alien 3 and stuff like that. So for me, I don't have a problem picking the underdog.
All I can say is, if anyone says Alien 3 to me, I know we're going to be off topic, but if anyone says Alien to me, I'll go, well, haven't you seen Resurrection?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm on a film that's terrible, just don't.
This conversation always comes up as well, like while we're on the subject of sequels. Whenever I mention Die Hard or Die Hard, Die Hard 2 specifically seems to be the one everyone rags on out of the original 3. And like I always thought it was amazing. I thought it was my favorite for a while. But I don't know, it's just there's certain sequels, isn't there, that people latch onto more than others, or they're too beholden. Like Terminator, for example. Like everyone loves Terminator 2, but I think we're the opposite, aren't we?
Yeah.
We like the original, but it's just there seems to be certain installments in certain franchises people latch onto more than others, don't they?
Theory: group psychosis and the whole Emperor's New Clothes. If one person says it's good,
yeah,
and another person says it's good, everybody wants to feel the same, that it's good. I like that one as well. That's why people don't like having three thoughts in case they're worried that their opinion might be shot down. Because Terminator 2 is infinite. I mean, going to Terminator, I'd rather watch Terminator Genesis than Terminator 2.
Yeah, I mean, we're not for any moment saying Terminator 2 is awful, because it's still a great film, but it's like the Dark Knight syndrome, isn't it? There's another one. Like, I mean, everyone, it literally put me off wanting to go see it again because it was so hyped up when it first came out. And all you think is, well, there was 2 great Batman films about 20 years ago. Why are we doing this now? But I don't know. Yeah, it's always like a weird little phase people go through, isn't there, where they sort of rag on a certain one, and then, like you say, it's a group thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Because you can't. If everyone was like going with Street Fighter is this masterpiece of camp cinema.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have people to do it, and people will think that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I suppose we do have to address, like, it is still a bad film.
It is.
Like, I mean, by the numbers, if you were to follow the 101 screenwriting tool, it's quite bad, isn't it?
But it's enjoyable.
But yeah. I mean, that's the end goal of any piece of entertainment, isn't it? To entertain.
Yeah, and I judge things about, when when we're doing notes and everything. Because I am traditional. I'm still traditional with using paper.
Yeah, I put them on my phone.
So it's in today's society. It's how often you pick up how often do I pick up the phone to look for other stuff which I should be watching this film by?
Yeah. That's how I judge how bored I am with a film.
Yeah, and with this one, it was. I mean, well, we've got one that's coming up, and I will admit that I was looking at my phone a few times
through
watching it. But you also find, the good in this in the film. I'll announce it now. It's coming soon in defense of RoboCop 3.
Yeah, we wanted to do like a 1-2 punch with this one, didn't we? Like the two films that are like universally sort of, I don't know, loathed, maybe not the right word, but
Disliked.
Yeah, disliked. Yeah, especially RoboCop 3. So that's the stronger of the two, I think. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you're saying, and I don't know. It's strange how they go through phases, isn't it? It's because I think now everyone sort of thinks of Street Fighter as a fond. Like I only got my phone out once to look at someone's name on IMDb, and I paused the film because it was just like it was bugging me because I'd seen some guy somewhere. But it wasn't like out of boredom. It was just, I need to look at this guy first and then go back. But yeah, no, I mean, it's one thing you can say about it is it's not boring, is it?
No, the guy you're looking at wasn't Zangief, was it?
Yeah, it was actually, yeah.
Because it does look familiar. Because I did that, and I couldn't believe it. He's Chip
In Batman Returns.
Yeah, Andrew Bryanowski.
Leatherface in the remake as well of Texas Chainsaw.
I couldn't believe it. Well, you can actually see it in his face once you realise.
Yeah, definitely. And he's got the funniest line in the film as well when when the truck's coming towards him on the telly and he's like, "Change the channel."
Oh, it's brilliant. It's good. The kind of dialogue. It's one thing I noticed, and I thought this was really Dalton.
Yeah.
So he does actually, as Rosh and Seth, he does have some bloody good dialogue.
I think it's more his delivery, isn't it?
Yeah.
He looks to me like he's been a sort of classically trained actor.
It's like he's like justifying, because Guile wants to kill Blanca because he's his friend and he's turned him into a monster. And he's saying about compassion, he's got the ability to love and to be good and be bad. And Dalton's penance is to stay and look after Blanca.
Yeah, like it's the monster he created, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a line: if good men do nothing, that is evil enough.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a little bit of lecturing.
Yeah.
It's not just about being good inside, but if you're a good person and you don't do anything, that's evil enough. And I thought, wow, trying to subtly put a little bit of, yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's actually really, really good for that one. That was really.
It's quite sort of baroque for a film like Street Fighter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like I think the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, I was young, but I was kind of like, all right, that's big. That's adult talk. Where's the fighting?
That's what you want when it's like you say that it's like RoboCop. When you're young, all you want is the RoboCop that kills things.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing ever, isn't it?
Yeah. Then when you're older, you're more of the subtext of the film.
Yeah.
So you can do it on two levels. Not that we're saying that Street Fighter is this great work of art.
No, but it doesn't need to be, does it? I mean, you don't always need your Schindler's Lists and your Saving Private Ryans and your Casablancas, do you? You do need your popcorn and your Resident Evils and your Tomb Raiders and stuff like that. You do need the ones where you can switch off, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
You say Resident Evil, and you've had people that do not like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Gamers.
Yeah. It's exactly who doesn't like it. But I mean, what are you expecting? You're not expecting like Oscar-winning dialogue. Like it's just fun.
But it's not like the game.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be, is it? I mean, I think a lot of people do sort of fall into that whole, the adaptation trap where you say like, oh, it's not as good as the original, like the book or whatever. Like it's an irrelevant point, really, isn't it?
But gamers have the internet on hand.
Yeah, of course they do.
So when you create a character like Alice, or you give, say, Street Fighter or something, a move that's not theirs belongs to someone else. That's where they become quick keyboard warriors.
Yeah, I know. I really like the idea that they use. I made a character that's not in the games in Resident Evil because it brings in the people who don't know the games.
Yeah,
And then you have the main characters from the games as the background characters.
I like Project Alice. We'll have to do it. We'll have to do a podcast on a few podcasts on Resident Evil.
Yeah, well, I mean, next year it's 20 years old, isn't it?
It's
The first one.
very good. I mean, I got into him through the Apocalypse because I think Apocalypse is good.
Yeah, that was the first one I went to see in cinema.
First one?
Yeah.
I saw that on video. No, I did. Apocalypse 2004.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was at sixth form.
I did see it. Yeah, I
Wow.
remember now because they had the teaser trailer, which is not on the bloody Blu-rays. Bastards. You know, the one with the perfume.
Oh yeah, the afterlife thing. Yeah, I remember. See, the Resident Evil is another example of that whole the hype behind the video game film. 'Cause that had been attempted to get off the ground for so long that it was sort of in a limbo. Although I remember a time when George Romero was going to direct it,
That would be interesting.
and he actually directed a commercial for Resident Evil 2 when it first came out, which is on YouTube. But yeah, no, how cool would that have been? Like the master of zombies. But I think it fell off the map for a long time, like Alien versus Predator, and then it sort of popped up again once Paul Anderson became. He's sort of like the video game director, isn't he?
Yeah. Although Alien vs Predator is terrible, and I'm
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
You say zombies though, right? This is something else. I mean, going back to Blanca again, he's watching these TV screens and like these. Is that what you call an Oculus thing now?
Yeah, I suppose it kind of is, isn't it? That was quite a weird prediction.
Yeah, and he's watching all violence. I seem to remember monkeys in cages watching violence that started the rage. So could Blanca be ground zero for the rage virus?
Very possibly. He could also be the ground zero for the Ludovico project from Clockwork Orange, where they force him to watch violence till it makes him sick.
Like, I will watch Clockwork Orange as soon as we can get out and be in the same room, and we'll do the Kubrick-a-thon.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen that as well, it's unreal. But do you know what is strange about the scene where he's watching all the violence? They actually sneak in someone being shot in the head from World War II in news footage. Into it's PG, isn't it? Street Fighter, or is it 12?
Let's have a look.
I think it. Well, it was PG-13 in America, so I don't.
PG-13, so you'd be looking at 12.
Yeah, so I mean, it was originally. I think it was originally given an R rating because, like, at the time there'd been a school shooting. I think it was Columbine, probably, wasn't it? 94.
I can find out.
So the MPAA were all sort of jumpy about any sort of, like the way they were with like 9/11 afterwards.
Yeah.
I think they were kind of like that. So it originally got a G, if I'm not mistaken, which is like a kiss of death for films aimed at teenagers, isn't it? Because they think, oh, it's for kids.
1999 Columbine was.
It wasn't Columbine, then it must have been something else. But yeah, I think the director, is it Steven D'Souza?
Yeah.
Said that he deliberately put an expletive for Van Damme, so it automatically gave it a sort of PG-13. Because I think like there's a sort of badge of honor for teenagers, isn't there, where they don't go and see G films.
Yeah, I do agree because it's sort of like as soon as nowadays it doesn't mean so much because you can watch ultra-violent stuff like Game of Thrones on
on your telly,
TV.
Or play Call of Duty and be in control of the violence yourself.
It's just, I mean, I don't play any of these newfangled games. That's why I still play Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, well, it's strange though, isn't it? Because I mean, Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat certainly was violent. Like Street Fighter is still pretty violent, isn't it? The game, but I think it's sort of because it's animated. You sort of get a free pass when you're animated, don't you?
And there's no real blood except for the end shot where you actually see them bruised.
Yeah, and same in the film, isn't it? There's only like cuts on people's heads, and when people get shot, there's no blood and stuff like that.
But I mean, I haven't seen the new Mortal Kombat because
No, I think it looks really good, and I've heard reviews that it's actually worth watching.
yeah. But that's a product of today where everything can be more ultra violent because there's no real. I know they have certificates, but they're not really useful because if someone wants to watch something, they just know the passwords.
Yeah, they're guidelines, aren't they? Really, they're not like. Well, I suppose they are lawfully binding, aren't they? But they're not. You can get around them easy, can't you, nowadays, more than ever? But yeah, I always thought it was stupid to do on PG-13 Mortal Kombat anyway, because the games were bloody as hell. So the film they made, I remember it was a 15 when it first came out, so I never was allowed. I couldn't go see it in the cinema. And then when I saw it, I thought, why is this a 15?
Yeah,
It's just there's some weird like age choices from back in the day. I remember.
I really don't. I mean, I think I've watched. I know I've watched it. I watched it once, but I was, like I said, I was very pro Street Fighter 2, so my knowledge of Mortal Kombat is, whereas Street Fighter.
You were either one or the other back then, weren't you?
Yeah.
You were in one camp or the other.
But now it's sort of like it's Ming Na Wen. I'm sorry, it's Ming Na Wen all the way.
Oh, it's frustrating how good looking she still is, isn't it?
Oh, she's stunning. She really. Oh. So that's why when Fennec returned in season 2, spoilers.
Yes,
Gloria.
I was about to say.
I mean, she's 58.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
57. She's gonna be 58 this year. And she still kicks ass, and she's brilliant in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I've yet to watch that.
Oh, she's brilliant.
I remember when I rented Street Fighter on video, and I think I watched it with my dad or something like that, and my mum sort of walked in, and she was like, "Oh, she's out of ER," and I was kind of like, "What the hell's ER?" And my dad went, "Oh, just one of your mum's crappy medical shows." And when I did finally watch that years later, it's strange seeing her in something as subdued as a medical drama. And there's a funny story about George Clooney. Did you know about this?
No.
She when she saw like the final, I think years later when Street Fighter had been out for a few years, she comes back. She leaves ER and comes back into it. And obviously George Clooney got his break on that as well. And I think he asked. They were talking about what films they'd done in the past or something, and she was really embarrassed about Street Fighter. And he was like, "Honey, I cornered the market in killing franchises."
He did Batman and Robin, but he also did a little film called Return of the Killer Tomatoes.
He did indeed, yeah.
That's one film I'd like to podcast.
Yeah, I haven't seen that for years.
Oh, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or Return of the Killer Tomatoes. I love those two. I can't do it in defense of. I don't think they need to be defended. I just like to podcast them because they are.
But they're universally liked anyway, aren't they? I think
they're just fun.
Again, like they're bad. They're awfully made. Like, but it's the charm, isn't it, that goes with that. Like the same with Street Fighter. I've like one of the sort of facts I found out that made me like it even more was the fact that the director said to the production designer, "Go away and watch Dr. No because that's the sort of sets I want."
Nice.
And I was like, "Good man, yeah."
Dr. No, but instead of having big buttons, you've got game controllers.
Yeah, I picked up on that when I was a kid.
Yeah. And the stealth boat.
Yeah. Stealth boat.
Pardon?
The stealth boat, you mean?
It's one thing I noticed about it, because I know we are saying about the stealth boat. I wrote and made a note on it. It's very new. It's very New Hope. The Death Star attack briefing.
Yeah.
Right, that's visuals, and the guy who's saying it can't be done.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's a lot to Star Wars in a time when nobody liked Star Wars.
Yeah, mid-90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
God, yeah. God, when no special editions existed.
Oh, no. I mean, I always find this amusing. In 94, you could literally put the entire people that would want to see the original trilogy as a trilogy into a small venue. Actually, it was called the venue in Elstree for the last ever screening anywhere theatrically of the Star Wars trilogy.
Pre-special edition.
Pre-special edition. The last
Yeah.
time they were aired anywhere was in Elstree Street, Bournemouth.
I mean, that's sort of wistful memory that I can't even. That's sort of dying to me now. The original cuts.
Yeah.
Like it's like a holy grail now, isn't it?
Yeah, they only released them once on DVD, but they was not the non-cleaned up versions.
Yeah, I think they deliberately did that they're like, you can have them, but they'll look shit.
Yeah, just so you can know how good what we've done to it is.
Yeah.
They go on about the release of the Snyder Cut. How about release the theatrical cuts?
Yeah, I know. I mean, you could get away with. I always thought that was Disney's plan anyway. Once the Fox thing was, they could do what they want with it now, can't they?
Get them
Anyway,
up.
that's another podcast, isn't it? What?
We always say we've got one Star Wars reference, but we've done a few Star Wars references in this one. But what about the game poses at the end?
Yeah, I think that's cool, actually.
Yeah. And they all get a little fight before that, so they go off fighting. And I just thought that was...
they do all their signature moves as well at some point, don't they? I mean, there's no, like, fireballs or anything like that, but they do, like, the gestures. And so I think they kind of did that more realistically, didn't they? Well, I say realistic, but, you know, like, not having fireballs and stuff like that, just having them do, like Vega, for instance, does his sort of crouching lunge with his claw and stuff like that. And it's just those sort of little moments for the fans, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's good, and the colour palette's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good, actually.
I mean, why can't you have an action movie that's for a younger audience, which is what this is?
Yeah. I mean, you can clearly tell who the bad guys are, who the good guys are.
I like it. And you say about, you don't see the fireballs, the Shoryukens, or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
There is. If you go on YouTube, type in fake martial artists, there are these people out there that believe that they can actually knock people over by just using the energy or the chi coming from them. It's really funny.
Of course they can.
It's fantastic. It's worth, if you're ever bored and you want to have a laugh, it's worth checking those out. It really is. But yeah, I do like the I like that. I do like the color palettes and the costumes. They try and keep the costumes pretty much.
They're relatively. I mean, Bison's. I used to think Bison's outfit was amazing. Like I went and got my mum to literally try and find me a Bison outfit when that film came out. Thankfully, there's no photos of that. But
ooh, I have to get you. Find them. That'd be funny.
But yeah, no, I mean, he looked perfect. Like Raul Julia was so like. I mean, it was quite a shame as well, like because he died of cancer, didn't he? Well, I think they finished it, but
before release.
And like he actually, everyone said he was like such a professional, put his soul into it, and because his kids loved the game, so and like he even studied like dictators and stuff like that, so he could get the attitude and stuff right. And I think that's really cool. Like because a lot of people probably won't know him if they haven't seen this or the Addams Family. And it's a shame because he's a good actor.
He's brilliant, and it's just that this is his final role.
One song, yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, I like the way the bit where they get to their karate uniforms as well, the white and the
yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, then it's sort of Ken and Rhea's classic. They have their red and white outfits on, don't they?
Yeah, and Chun-Li, I more know as the blue, but they're wearing the alternative red one.
Yeah,
and it's like this.
I prefer the blue one.
Pardon?
I prefer the blue one, and I think a lot of other virile young males do as well, don't they? Yeah. I think that's got to be one of the most cosplayed characters, isn't it?
It is. If you look that one up, if you use the hashtag on Instagram, just pulled up on IMDb. I'm looking at the picture of them all doing the pose at the end.
Yeah,
a young Ming-Na Wen and Van Damme flexing his muscles. It's. I just forgot my notes, looking at my notes as well. 10K a week cocaine problem.
Oh, I know. I was shocked and not shocked at the same time about that. That's crazy, isn't it?
Very rock star where you have a coke budget.
A coke budget. That sounds hilarious. Then he used to sort of he phoned in sick and well, not phoned in sick, but he like didn't turn up and stuff, didn't he?
And they had to have a Van Damme wrangler.
A Van Damme wrangler, good God.
Yeah. Or well, another thing, which was just coming out of the whole coolness to have long hair thing. You got Vega and his long hair.
Yeah, he's kind of like a proto Antonio Banderas, isn't he?
Yeah. That was well. That was just. I mean, by the time it came out, long hair was dying the death.
Yeah.
But very, yeah.
I think it started in the 80s, didn't it? Really.
Long hair.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah, late 80s, because after. I always say it was after Hard to Kill.
Oh, Seagal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the Hard to Kill, Out for Justice and Mark for Death, he made Puppy Tails look cool.
Yeah, and I think sort of Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon as well, wasn't it, for long hair?
Yeah.
I always imagine him with long hair.
That was more shoulder length. That's why I like that. And then he gets it all cut short for the fourth one.
Yeah, he looks. It's like when you watch like the fourth and fifth Die Hard films, and I just can't take John McClane being bald.
No. Why couldn't they? I mean, why couldn't they just give him a wig? I mean, they did usually put on hair for the third one for Vengeance. Yeah. So with being bald, it just looks like he just looks like a generic Bruce Willis character.
Yeah.
But then again, doing the shit that he does in Die Hard 4 and Die Hard 5.
Yeah.
It looks like just titled. I know the other Die Hards were all scripts just changed around a bit, but those on 4 and 5 just really feel like that.
Well, on topic, they feel like video game movies, don't they?
4 and 5, yeah.
Like they're just sort of, you could insert anyone into that situation and it wouldn't have to be John McClane.
Imagine if everyone wanted to go to Chernobyl.
Yeah, I know. How? Oh, don't even get me started on those films. Good God.
There's 3 Die Hard movies.
Yeah. I remember we went to with one of my friends. We went to London to watch the original trilogy at the Prince Charles Cinema, and when the guy came out to announce it, he was like, "Oh, he said something like, I hope you all enjoy it. The Die Hard trilogy," and he said it like stressed, as if like everyone in there just sort of cheered.
It is a trilogy. 4 and 5 don't exist.
No.
No.
Speaking of weird sequels, have you seen Street Fighter: Legend of Chun-Li?
You think I have? Is that the one? Is that the one with the dude out of American Pie?
Which one?
One that nobody likes.
Which guy?
Name. I'm gonna pull it up. I'll be able to find out. He plays. Oh shit! The one that's the lacrosse player.
Oh, you mean Chris Klein?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's in it. I don't remember him being in it, but he might have been. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh, he was. Oh.
Charlie Nash.
Oh, so he plays.
I don't really remember much of it.
Yeah, no, it was. They tried to sort of. I think something like the rights reverted to Fox or something, and they tried to reboot it, but it was. You can't make it serious. I don't know. I care how much you try.
I think, and that's the same time as like Dark Knight came out because it's 2009, and everyone was going dark.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to apologize to Chris Klein for basically slating him.
Sorry, I'm sure he's doing
boring one. It should have been. It should have been a funny film like Sharknado. God, their careers haven't really oriented much.
Yeah, it was weird, isn't it?
Although I do like Stifler.
Yeah, I love Sean William Scott.
He's good in The Goon. So I think that'd be a good, interesting thing to discuss someday.
Yeah.
Teen movies. Why?
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, we both basically had the opinion that they died with American Pie, didn't they?
Mm.
Like, not died with it. I mean, that was the last good sort of batch of them.
There was 4 good. Well, the third one's not that good. American Wedding, not so much, but 1, 2, and 4. And I love the Harold and Kumar movies. They've got, but after that, everybody tries to be like that, but they just miss the heart out. But also
Yeah.
that's the next podcast. But yeah, the Legend of Chen Lu, it wasn't memorable. And then they do a TV movie. I watched it. I'm sure of it.
I don't know, unless that was it.
No, that was I'll find it because I think I saw it on Amazon. They
Well,
focused on.
It was like a TV series called Street Fighter 2V, and it was like an animated one. It was like an anime one, but they dubbed it into American. And that was like, that sort of came out at the same time as the film, I think. But yeah, it's not really been sort of mined again for filming, has it?
Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, I think it was.
Oh yeah. I think that was like like you say, when a direct to video.
Yeah, I watched that.
Any good?
Long, but not too bad. It was not memorable. Well, at least it focused on Ryu and Ken and their relationships. But all you can remember is bad wigs.
Yeah. There was
At least
pretty bad
Jean-Claude
wigs in the original as well, though, to be fair, wasn't there?
Yeah, but Jean-Claude Van Damme looked good.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's probably his hair, isn't it?
Yeah. But I really enjoyed watching it. And like I said, it was just fun. I watched it early in the morning one day. And I was like,
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, it's one of those sort of you can like get around each other's house, have a beer, just sort of relax. It's not you're not required to go deep with it, are you? So
that's fun, and that's what we need sometimes. It's just fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh yeah, I would. Out of all, I mean, because I'm fond of Resident Evil, but if you want a good bit of fun, action movie, check your brain out on Street Fighter.
Yeah, definitely.
Final words?
Just, I mean, it's always a pleasure watching it again. I mean, and one thing I did mean to say, they released it again on Blu-ray recently, and it's got some really good features on it, like a documentary and a new commentary and stuff like that. So I sort of mind that again just to get some information from it. But yeah, it's always a pleasure watching Street Fighter.
Check out what they look like now, because you'll be surprised they've really aged well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, most of them do actually, don't they?
So this has been In Defense of Street Fighter. I'm CBW.
And Callum.